Okay, so today we're going to take a look at our diamond garage floor tile diamond tiles. These are really rigid plastic tiles, and if you need to cut them for a wall-to-wall installation, or if you need a finished edge and you're not using the ramp border strips, really simple process here is to use a power saw such as this. Be aware that with the raised base, you're not going to be able to mark on the bottom very well what your custom cutting lines are going to be. So with that being said, although we don't typically want you to mark on the surface of your tiles when you're cutting, in this case it's going to be a necessity, and so you want to use something that is not going to scratch or mar your tiles, and something that can be removed when you're done. One thing that we found that works really well is a chalk marker or a window marker, like you often see kids use to color on their windows. The nice thing about that is it does not absorb into a non-porous surface, and these tiles are definitely non-porous as they are waterproof. And they wipe, the chalk, once it dries, wipes away very, very easily. So let's go ahead and, for demonstration purposes, we're going to mark a line where we're going to cut. You can see nice and highly visible. You don't have to do any guesswork when you're trying to figure out where you're cutting. And if for some reason you still can see some of the marks when you're done, it wipes off nice and easy. You know, right now it's a little bit wet, so it leaves a little smudge, but once it dries, it wipes off really well. When you're doing your cutting, make sure that whatever saw you're using, that the blades go into the surface first and come out the bottom. That way, if it generates enough friction to leave a rough edge, all the rough edges are on the bottom and you still have a nice smooth cut on the top. And with this raised base, another thing to keep in mind is that the thickness does change. So you're going to feel it's not going to cut through super smooth, because you're going to hit a thick spot, a thin spot, a thick spot, a thin spot. So be aware of that as you're cutting, and keep a nice firm grip on your tile. So let's give this a go. As you can see in this case, the saw is not as deep as the tile is, so you're going to have to make multiple cuts. So if you have to shut it off in the middle, make sure you let that blade come to a complete stop before you go to move the tile, just for safety purposes. And then we can spin it around and finish the cut. So there we have all the way through. You can see there are a few more of those lines just along the edge there. By now that chalk is dried, and you can just come back and wipe it off. And you've got your custom cut tile.